Hi friends, in this video I will be showing you what are all the seeds which I am sowing this summer. So basically I have 5 varieties of seeds which I have lined up to sow, and apart from that I have one more variety of plants which have to be transplanted into larger containers. If time permits I will be transplanting them, otherwise we'll just only do the sowing of these plants in this episode. So the first one will be Gangavailu, and mind that this video is only sowing of all the green leafy vegetables. So first one is Gangavailu, other one is Sorrel Gongura, that I have white stem variety and as well as red stem variety, and then I have this methi seeds, and apart from that I have palak seeds, and the last one is Chukkakura or IndianSorrel. So these are the things which I will be sowing this summer. So let's start off. In this episode basically we will see how to sow them, what is the right type of soil should we use for these containers, and is there any specific choice when we are making with respect to containers. All these things and we'll also discuss, apart from that, watering, sunlight, all these conditions also we'll discuss one by one. So let's start off. Pots of any material can be used for growing these green leafy vegetables. Pots that are made out of clay or cement or plastic can also be used. So basically the larger pots will provide more soil and will hold more water, which will minimize wilting and stress as the plant gets larger. Whereas the smaller containers will hold less amount of soil and will require frequent watering and fertilizing. So hence here I have chosen a pot depth of at least 8 inches. Here my pot depth, my grow bag depth is 9 inches. So choosing at least minimum 8 inches will hold sufficient soil, nutrients and moisture. And the width of the pot can be chosen based on one's convenience and the space available in your garden. Leafy greens grow best in loose, organic, rich and well-drained soil. For the potting mix, I am taking here 50% of coco peat, 20% of garden soil and 30% of vermicompost. One can also use leaf compost or cow dung or any manures available with them instead of vermicompost. Basically, I am using more amount of coco peat to reduce the weight on my terrace garden. So, I have thoroughly mixed all the ingredients. My potting mix is ready. So, let me fill up in the containers right now. So this is a row where I plan to keep all my leafy vegetables. Here I have amaranthus, and there I have one more green leafy vegetable in the end. So the first one I am going to sow is Gangavailu seeds. If you notice the size of the seed is very small, less than the size of a mustard seed. So based on the size of the seed, so some of the seeds can be sown directly on the soil and some must be planted at a proper depth to ensure good germination. So since this seed is very much less than the mustard seed, what I am going to do is I am just going to directly sow on the soil. So here also when you are sowing, you can just randomly scatter the seeds on the soil surface, or you can just row them, you can sow them in the rows, like you can just sow the seeds in a straight lines. And then later on just pat the soil gently so that the seeds don't get dislodged when you are watering them. So in case you notice the seedlings have grown in clusters, then you can thin out your seedlings when they are at least 4 to 6 inches tall. So now that I am done with the sowing of this variety of seeds, now I am going to move on to sowing methi seeds. Now in case you are noticing, this methi seeds are slightly bigger in size and they have to be planted at a proper depth to ensure good germination. Usually the seed packet will include the information on planting depth and spacing. In case the instructions are not provided on the seed packet, as a general thumb rule, planting depth can be 2 times the size of the seed. So minimum of 0.5 centimeter or 1 centimeter can be taken as a thumb rule to plant your seeds. For more orderly way of growing, we can also make shallow furrows like how I am making here along the length of my pot, and then I will be dropping the seeds in them. So if the seeds are growing in clusters, later you can thin the seedlings when they are at least 4 to 6 inches tall and then plant them in a separate container. Making shallow furrows along the length of the pot will make the process of applying manures also an easy task. Now that I have sown the seeds, I am going to replace the topsoil which I have removed in the process of making the furrows. and then I will press the soil firmly so that the seeds will not get dislodged when I am watering. I will repeat the process of creating furrows and sowing seeds for rest other varieties of seeds. That's Palak and 2 varieties of sorrels, that is IndianSorrel, Chukkakura, and other sorrel with gongura with white stems and red stems. So let me continue that process as well. Now let's discuss the watering conditions meanwhile. Keep the soil moist until the germination occurs, which should take about 7 to 10 days based on the temperature and location. And one more important thing we have to remember is try not to use this water pipe, as the pressure of water is high when you are using water pipes. So I generally use a spray bottle or long necked watering can so that I don't dislodge the seeds when I am watering. And ensure that all the containers have a good drainage facility so that the water is not logged. And then let's see about sunlight conditions. As far as sunlight requirements are concerned, containers can be placed in a place where it receives 4 to 5 hours of sunlight. I will not be discussing topics related to pests and its management, fertilizers and other things, because we will be discussing about those topics in subsequent videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. Grow some of these leafy vegetables at home this summer and get bountiful harvest. Do check out other videos and consider subscribing to my channel. I will try and make an update video on how these seedlings are doing after a few weeks. And I will see you in another video, and until then, happy gardening.